Okay, so let's go over what the focus question is. So last couple of days we've been looking at World War I from a world history perspective. Now we're going to look at how America starts to get involved. We'll spend about 2 days on this, 2.5 days. And then we'll start to look at some of the fighting and some of the weapons and some of the videos that we got a little more into. But we kind of got to look at why America gets involved. At this point, you should know that the United States is not getting involved until about 3 years into the war, which is around 1917. And we're going to look at the two major reasons why. The first is called the sinking of the Lusitania. All right, so how do we go from neutrality, meaning not getting involved, to getting involved in World War I and actually becoming a fighter in a big country towards the end of the war in terms of fighting? So the sinking of Lusitania is the first event, okay, and the second event is the Zimmermann telegram. Today we will focus on the sinking of Lusitania. Tomorrow we'll focus on the Zimmermann telegram, all right? I noticed that yesterday I had posted the Zimmermann telegram assignment early. Please do not do that. We will do that tomorrow. Okay. Again, if you're from 8BE, 8CE, or 8DE, you do not have to stay for this lesson. You guys are a lesson behind 8D6. I have to teach them. You guys should work asynchronously with the YouTube I posted and complete the assignment by the end of the day. All right.
I was gonna say. For the key and answer key, January 25.
I'm sorry, say that again. You broke up.
So for the January 25 lesson, the sides and leaders of war. Is that supposed to be like our thing? Like we do that independently?
Yeah, you should work on that first because 8C wasn't here yesterday. So you should work on that first and then try and get to the next lesson. Just do either of the lessons. They should be fine.
Okay.
Yep. All right, so we're going to move on. You don't really need to write the part in blue. I just needed the focus question down. So we're going to move on to this part here. Now, I'm going to say this right from the beginning, okay? You will naturally get the sinking of the Maine, which was dealing with the Spanish-American War. I'm writing in the chat now. And the sinking of the Lusitania, confused, which has to do with World War I. And that's okay, because they are two boats. They're two very similar boats that both get sunk, and they both have to do with war. So it's natural for them to get confused. But let's go over the actual Lusitania. So first off, I have a question for you, because I'm getting some text. How is Google Meet working for you guys? Is it a little choppy and laggy?
Yeah.
No, it's just like it's the Wi-Fi and like I can hear.
Okay.
It just started glitching out.
Yeah, I'm getting some texts.
Yeah, I sent you emails about it. Like everybody is.
Perfect. Okay, so it's everyone. All right. But this will be on YouTube recorded, so the recording should be perfectly fine. So you could always go back to that and watch that. So we have a boat that basically travels between this path. It travels from New York City to the United Kingdom and Ireland. And it goes on this constant path. It's called the Route of the Lusitania. It's taken this voyage a couple of different times. Okay? And New York City, okay, is obviously where Ellis Island and where a lot of trading goes through. But the Lusitania is a boat that was taking, it was a British boat, but it was taking passengers on this path. Now, what you don't probably realize here is World War I consists of what's called submarine warfare. You're going to learn that the Germans had a lot of submarines. And for those that don't know, those are boats, but they're boats that are underwater. And a lot of submarines, okay, are very hard to detect and see because they're so far underwater. All right, so long story short, I don't want to get into the details too much from this photo. There is going to be this boat sinking just off the coast of Ireland, okay, by a German U-boat. I want to see how and why this affects the United States, okay? So please copy down what is in blue and in red to start. All right, I'll give you a minute to do it. Okay, so during World War One, we had neutral countries. Please understand, I always ask this question, and it's a little tough when you're in a chat, but let's see what you got here. Yep, no problem, Evelyn. So let me ask you this question. What country is in control of the Atlantic Ocean? Who is in control of the Atlantic Ocean? So in the chat, tell me, what country do you think is in control of the Atlantic Ocean? Your internet's not in control. Anyone want to take a guess of who is in control of the Atlantic Ocean? What country? Britain's a good guess, but not true. Germany's a good guess, but not true.
America?
America's a great guess, but not true. All right, it's a trick question. There is no one in control of the oceans. They are what's called free to basically go through. They're called freedom of the seas. All right? So basically, even though there's a world war going on, no one is allowed to basically stop countries from traveling or trading. All right, so you're supposed to allow countries, especially ones that are neutral like the United States, to travel and trade. So America is going to send a cargo and a passenger ship. So it's a ship that has not only people traveling from America to Great Britain, but it also has supplies. So very often when if you guys go on a plane, at the bottom of the plane, you will have cargo, okay, stuff that's being shipped and being traded from person to person. Could be Amazon packages, could be FedEx packages, okay? So boats back then used to work the same way. So America sent a cargo and a passenger ship, and it was called the Lusitania. It is very similar looking, if you've ever seen pictures of the Titanic. It looks very similar to it. All right. Now, according to the United States and Britain, we were just basically sending people and sending basic cargo over from the United States to Britain, and that was pretty much it. However, we wouldn't find out till years later that we were actually secretly sending supplies to Great Britain to help them fight in World War I. Now, this upsets Germany because Germany has Britain as their enemy. And they also have a lot of boats in the Atlantic Ocean. So Germany decides, you know what? We're not going to allow weapons to be sent to our enemies. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to sink the ship. All right, please copy this down as well while I set up the video that you're about to watch. And then we'll go over this quickly.
The Google Meet's acting super weird. Like I try to type in a chat, but
It's everyone. I'm getting texts from people that it's a problem for the whole school right now. So it's not just you guys. Let's just do the best we can.
All right. I also can see your screen, so it's kind of weird.
Right. Yes, Ryan.
Oh, that was an accident.
Okay, Ryan, yeah, you don't have to stay. I have 8D6 this period along with you guys, but I gave you in the chat what you should be doing. You can stay, though. You don't need to go. All right, so let's go over what happened here. So Germany is going to basically find out about it and torpedo the Lusitania, which those don't know, those are underground missiles. And it killed 1,300 innocent people. Now, this is a big, big problem because you have innocent people dying during a war, which is obviously sad. But out of those 1,300 people, 128 of them were Americans. So this does affect America because you have some American people that were killed. Not some, I mean a lot. 128 is a lot. And this upset America in a big way. And this is something that Germany had to apologize for. And this is the really important thing. They made a promise to us. They made a promise to us that they would never do this again. They would never do unrestricted submarine warfare again and sink more ships. All right, so they promise us this won't happen again. So this is what happens. This does not put America in World War I, but it severely impacted our public opinion, our people in America's feelings against Germany and the Central Powers. So basically we go from not really caring who wins World War I to now actively rooting against Germany and now the Central Powers and now rooting for places like Britain, France, Russia, and the Allied powers because we're upset what Germany did to us. All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to watch a video on the sinking of Lusitania. It's 2 minutes long, really, really quick. I kind of feel like there will be some of you, because it's laggy, that may not be able to see it. So I will post this in the chat. You can watch it on your own if it's too laggy to understand. I will, of course, play the video. Okay, so there is the link right there. I will, of course, play the video. But let's go through this video here as it's going on.
Called the Greyhound of the Seas, the Lusitania was the fastest passenger liner of her time. Yet in the end, she wasn't fast enough to outrun the German submarine which sank her during World War I. When it set out for Liverpool, England, from New York on May 1st, 1915, the Lusitania was supposed to be carrying only civilians. The Germans suspected that the Lusitania contained tons of ammunition bound for British guns. Before it left, Germany posted an ad in New York papers warning passengers that the Lusitania would travel through waters patrolled by German submarines. The captain of the Lusitania assured passengers the ship was in no danger. As the Lusitania neared Ireland, the captain received warnings that U-boats were in the area and that he should take evasive action. Instead, the captain slowed down. The German submarine U-20 tracked the Lusitania and at 2:10 in the afternoon fired a single torpedo, penetrating the hull just below the waterline. 15 seconds later, a massive second explosion split the boat apart. In just 18 minutes, the great ship went down. Nearly 2,000 people hit the freezing water. In the end, over 1,100 died, among them 128 Americans. The outrage was immediate. Anti-German sentiment exploded across America. The incensed public put pressure on President Woodrow Wilson to warn Germany to stop attacking passenger ships. The Germans insisted the Lusitania was also carrying ammunition destined to be fired at German soldiers. But decades later, secret British documents confirmed the Lusitania was carrying ammunition. Regardless, the damage was done, and American public opinion turned against Germany. On April 6, 19...
Okay, so we'll stop there. I know there's not much time left, but yeah, so that was just a good little overview. Germany warned that maybe Lusitania shouldn't be going through there because we have German U-boats patrolling in the Atlantic Ocean. But we believe that, you know, we were allowed to go trade. They did find out that we were secretly sending weapons. Now, should they have sunk the ship and killed 1,300 people? Probably not. There's a little bit of right and wrong for both sides here, but ultimately they ended up sinking the ship, and now America gets pretty pissed off at Germany, and now we start to root against Germany. And that's all that really happens from this, but it is a big step forward, okay, for us now getting into this topic. All right, so I'm going to take about the next 20 minutes here. You guys are going to work on a reading on the Lusitania. Okay, the sinking of the Lusitania, which is this reading right here. Okay, you're going to do the reading. All right, and then there are the questions here. Now, again, you will not be able to write on the document here. If you do the reading, pretty much everything, all the questions are from the reading there. You will not have to do this bottom left box that says make a timeline. You will not have to do it. You'll have to do the 6 short answer, the 4 multiple choice, and then this little short answer question here as well. It will look like this. Notice how you have the Lusitania reading answer key, so you're just going to answer the questions here. Jaden, by the end of the day, as per usual, that is the expectation. You don't have to finish it by the end of this period, but if you have some internet issues, then of course you can do it a little bit later. Hopefully they don't last the entire time. All right, I want to stop talking so you guys can do as much of the work as possible. I'm sure this lesson is very choppy, so what don't you do? One thing that says right here, you don't have to do this box, skip this box. All right, everything else you need to do. The top left, the top right, the bottom right. Okay? All right, so you guys are on your own. I'll be here for the next 20 minutes. Let me know if you have any questions.